Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH, number 81, Ocho y Uno. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Nick Davis with me. Tell him what's up, Nick.
What's up, guys?
What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy week 14. If you are in the playoffs, you're probably pretty happy as well, unless you're like me and you missed by about 20 points or so. Nick, how are we looking for your playoff matchups?
Looking good. I think I mentioned before my opponent hadn't played a good matchup and kind of cornered himself in the market.
Ugh.
But, for me,
Who was the matchup on Thursday night? Who did he start?
He had started Cam Newton, Jacoby Myers, James White, and who was the other guy?
Jacoby Myers.
N'Keal Harry. And
wow.
he got a total of 19.89 points. And I'm like, dude, that's like half your team. And you cornered yourself on one game. And if it went one way, which it did, you were going to be screwed.
Yeah, that guy did that all year, though. You know, riding the Patriots' hot hand. The gentleman that beat me by about 24 points.
Yeah.
Hold my playoff spot for me. No big deal.
I feel like he just kind of he really wanted to have a boom or bust week. And for me, I'm always trying to not have that kind of return. It's cool. Right. It's cool to boom, but you really only need to beat him by 1 point.
Yep.
So I try to stay steady Eddie. The only thing that I had to pivot with was Myles Gaskins yesterday came down with COVID.
Tough.
That blew my heart.
Tough. Ride the Myles Gaskin train this year. He's in, he's out, he's riding high. Yeah. You got Salvin Ahmed getting in the mix there. He's going to be out today. It's rough down there in Miami.
So DeAndre Washington is my guy for this week. It was either him or Frank Gore, and I was like, you know what? Whoever's in the in the Miami backfield, they seem to have some success either on the ground or in the receiving.
It's going to get to work.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go with the availability and, fresh legs, technically.
Yep, I like it. Let's jump over to our player game statuses for today. You want to go through the rundown, who's going to be in and who's out. I already know, expected out today. You're looking at like Kenny Galladay, Christian McCaffrey. Those guys should be all out.
Where the F is
game day? There you go. Game day. No, you're good. But yeah,
guys had a late start.
Myles Gaskin going to be another one that's going to be out today. That's going to be really rough.
I'm ready.
Go ahead. Run through.
All right. So not expected to play CMC, Kyle Rudolph, ruled out, Myles Gaskin, Salvin Ahmed, Alexander Madison, Denzel Mims, Kenny Galladay, Antonio Gibson out.
Ouch.
Julio Jones out. Game time decision, Jameson Crowder, Austin Hooper, Cameron Brate expected to play. DeAndre Hopkins, Kenyon Drake, Daniel Jones, Irv Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, T. Higgins, Brandon Cooks, Kiki Kute, Frank Gore, Josh Jacobs, Matt Stafford, and DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, so we'll start to get into some of those guys as we get into our game breaks here, as we go through the game previews. But there's going to be some value available this week with a lot of these guys out. I'm looking at DJ Moore. That's hurting for folks. You need that guy in your playoff lineup for sure. Obviously, if you drafted CMC and you were able to, weather the storm and get here, it's pretty unfortunate. I would have been expecting him back by now. But let's jump into the game previews here and start attacking some of our lineups. We got Tennessee Titans traveling to Jacksonville. I think we're both going to be really heavy on our Titans here. A.J. Brown, he's going to be a game time decision. He's been missing some practice. I think he's going to be fine. I just don't think that they need to use him a ton in this game. We're looking at a 7.5 spread here. Is that a decent enough number for you? Are you confident in the Titans to cover 8 points?
Man, it's kind of hard because sometimes it seems like, their passing game just lights up and it's just lights out. It's almost like Kansas City.
Right.
And you're just like, how does a team like this not have wider margins? But then you realize that a lot of times they just park the bus with Derrick Henry and just let Derrick Henry take the ball and put it into the ground. 7 points. You got 7 points?
7.5.
I got 7.5 too. Okay. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Jacksonville covers.
Jacksonville covers. They're playing at home. They've been getting very vertical with their offense. James Robinson's still there, getting it done. The Browns showed that you can put up numbers on the Titans here. Just don't see the same type of offense out of the Jaguars, though.
I'm not going to say that they're going to get the points the same kind of way because honestly, Baker really just took advantage of broken coverages 3 times in a row, basically. This is going to be a different game. I don't see Jacksonville jumping out high. If anything, I see Tennessee jumping out pretty fast, just to try and get some cushion. Just try and get some cushion and try and park the bus. But I think Jacksonville's going to keep it close. They're always slinging and they're always trying to stay in it.
Mike Glennon's driving that ball down the field.
Mike Glennon saved my butt last week with hooking up with DJ Shark and Laviska Shenault. Or no, it was Laviska he hooked up with.
Yeah, random ass touchdown.
That was weird. Yeah. That was weird. But, that kind of stuff is probably going to happen. And they still have James Robinson. James Robinson is one of the best,
Steady Eddie.
Statistically, the most consistent running back in the NFL right now.
The volume's the most consistent, bar none.
Yeah. So I have a lot of faith in James Robinson. I don't have a lot of faith in the Tennessee defense. I don't think that they're actually that good. They're really depending on their offensive firepower to win games.
Yep.
So I'm going to say Jacksonville covers.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from there. I'll probably just prop the Titans up in some value on the money line, maybe parlay it with something else. I think it's a lock. I don't like that half point. I like the 7 points. I like the 6.5. I don't like the 7.5. I like just winning by a touchdown, because I could see a garbage time touchdown kill that number here. What do you think about the over under at 52.5? That's a pretty high number. It looks like the books are expecting some offense here. I might take the under.
I could see taking the over. Their defenses aren't stout. They're not like Pittsburgh. They're not like Tampa Bay. I mean, even Tampa Bay's defense still gets lit up.
Sure.
And it's a different type of NFL. So even if you have a good defense, you still are going to have those games where you're just like looking mediocre. I'm gonna say take the over because I think that both teams are gonna come out slinging. It's a division game too. Like no matter how bad the AFC South is, it's still a division game. Not as bad as the NFC East, but it's still a division game, and there's still some bad blood. So Jacksonville's gonna come out slinging. I mean, Jacksonville won against Indianapolis, who's a playoff team. So
Gardner Minshew was in the lineup. It was a long time ago. Long time ago.
You know what? If Gardner Minshew can hit one time, Mike Glennon can hit one time.
Mike Glennon's hit enough. He's already got like couple passing touchdowns. He's hit plenty of times. I'm ready for Mike Glennon to throw 4 interceptions and pack it in. I'll take the under there. I mean, I see where you're coming from there. I think there is some value in the over. I just don't like the Jaguars to drive the number today. I'm going to be flooring all my Titans. I got Corey Davis in my DFS lineup today. Give me A.J. Brown. It's really a tough week to bench him, if you own him. They've been nursing his injuries all season long. I think he's a safe start today. I just don't think he's going to boom for you. I'm anticipating 10 to 14 fantasy points, nothing crazy.
Okay.
Probably gets a touchdown, 5 to 6 catches, but I don't think he booms on the yardage. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, going to be studs this week. Absolute locks in your lineup here. Jonnu Smith, it looks like he's going to be back, right?
Jonnu Smith, from what I see on here,
looks like he should be good to go.
Yeah, I don't see him on there. Should be good to go.
So
actually questionable on here, and he wasn't on the Fantasy Pros game day. So
yeah, follow him in, but I think he's going to be good. I think he's a good start this week. He's been quiet, been kind of banged up. I think this is a good spot up against Jacksonville to get him rolling again. For the Jaguars, no Mike Glennon for me. Sorry, DJ Shark. I love you, brother, but I can't do it this week. Not in fantasy. I know it's a juicy matchup up against the Titans, but I feel like you're going to have a better options in your lineup potentially in some shallower leagues.
No, did you know that C.J. Henderson was on IR?
Yeah, he's been on IR for a while.
Wow, I think I saw that he got injured, but I didn't catch that he got to IR. That's going to be a big thing. That's a big thing to keep an eye out for A.J. Brown or Corey Davis because they don't.
He's been gone for like weeks.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good.
They've been kind of spacey lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be definitely effective for the passing game because there's no number one corner. Like it's the backups, and they're going to roast them. So
I think Miles Jack is like the only true number one defender on that Jaguars defense. Period.
Yeah, I'm looking at their IR list.
John Allen isn't he gone?
Josh Allen. Yeah,
Josh Allen.
Gone.
Sorry.
Dakota Allen. He's the guy from Last Chance U.
Yeah.
C.J. Henderson.
Yeah, they're
Shaq
trash.
Quarterman.
Yeah, they're trash. I mean,
it sucks, man.
This is a 1-11 team. Like there's only so many good things you can say about them. It's not going to be on their defense. They have some ballers on the offensive side, but they're just a bad team. I mean, they're chasing the number one pick potentially. Let's move on from this one. We got Dallas Cowboys going to the Bengals. Big Cowboys week, which is great because it's the playoffs, right? All these fantasy live options, Zeke, Amari Cooper, Gallup, Lamb. Start them all. I'm firing them up. We got Dallas Cowboys on the road, -3 favorites, -160 on the money line. Over under here is at 43 points. Home run over or what? Like,
I mean, it's 50-50 on the money, so
I'm going to slam that over. I mean, this is Andy Dalton revenge game, like coming back to Cincy. I mean, the Bengals have been bad, right? But these fantasy options should be live as well. I've been saying to fade all these Bengals, but this is the week for them to get back in your lineups. Boyd, Higgins. Not saying to start, Allen or Finley there. I think it's Ryan Finley. I think Allen's hurt. But Gio Bernard, good week to start him up against the Dallas rushing defense. Dallas defense has been real bad. I'm firing up everybody I can. I want this matchup. I want everybody that's live.
Oh, man, some of these matchups, just like the rankings wise, are just pretty piss poor. So, I mean, I kind of got to take away the passing yards ranking of 6th. Offense 8th, because Dak had so many yards, and we all know if you've been watching the Dallas games that they have not been passing for many yards. So I kind of always take that out. The Cincinnati defense is 26th in passing yards, so I mean there is opportunity to attack them. They're also 29th in rushing yards, so I mean really you got to set the tone with Zeke and Tony Pollard and try and get them to set the pace for you guys. And then let me see on the opposite side. The Dallas defense has been actually somewhat stout in the passing yards, 6th. The Cincinnati offense only 21 yards. They have been the worst rushing defense, though, and Cincinnati, they've also been the worst rushing offense at 29th ranked. It's really a battle of the worst of the worst. So I don't see the offensive power coming. On paper, you see those guys like Zeke and Amari and you think a revenge game from Dalton. I don't see it. I just see maybe, a 21, let me see, what would get 21-17 game. And that would get me to the under. So
sure.
That's what I see.
Maybe we don't use the language Andy Dalton revenge game, because I'm not saying he's going to come out and throw 5 touchdowns, but he's very familiar playing in Cincinnati. I don't think it's a road game for Andy Dalton. So I think it props up some of his value for this week. I mean, it's just not a road game. He lived there for years. You know what I mean? He's going to have, if they have fans in the stands, I have no idea if Cincinnati does, they'll be cheering for Andy Dalton. It's just the facts of the matter. The Cowboys in general, like I said, I'm starting up all their options. I mean, okay, maybe the offense isn't, there like you think it is, but what options are you going to bench? What Cowboys would you bench up against the Bengals? Michael Gallup?
I'm not saying that I am benching them. I'm just saying it could be a trap game, because
so if it's a trap game, who would you feel comfortable starting for the Cowboys then?
Zeke.
That's it? No Amari Cooper?
No. I mean, I am starting Amari because he is my one of my top receivers. But I mean, if anything, I would play Zeke.
Okay, well, yeah, Zeke's absolute home run in DFS this week, for sure, going up against the Bengals. If you're looking at lineup questions, remove Zeke from those equations because he's just a lock for this week for sure. Yeah. For the Bengals, give me all of Giovanni Bernard, give me T. Higgins, give me Tyler Boyd. I don't think that we need to dip much farther than that. You're kind of on Drew Sample right now. Are you ready to fire up Drew Sample up against Cowboys?
Yeah, because I don't think the Dallas the Dallas linebackers, Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, they're very athletic, they're very strong, but they're very good against the rush, not against the pass. I constantly see Jalen Smith chasing people. And, and it makes me feel bad because I know how he's trying to get in position, but he's a run stopper. He's not a pass coverage guy. So I think that the tight ends are going to eat today. So Drew Sample, yeah.
Oh, tight ends for the Cowboys too? Firing up some Dalton Schultz?
I would fire him up, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Because Andy Dalton's going to be, he doesn't have the Dallas line in front of him. He has backup, so he's going to be running for his life. He's going to need some safety, and I think Dalton Schultz is going to provide it. I'm
ready to throw all of them in here. So give me the Cowboys here, -3 on the money line, and I'll take the over the 43 points.
Okay.
Next up, we got the Cardinals and the Giants. Cardinals coming in as road favorites, -2.5 on the money line, -2.5 on the spread, -150 on the money line. We got a game total of 47.5 points here. Giants home dogs +130 on the money line. What do you think here, Nick? I mean, you're kind of on the Giants. They've been covering. I like them to cover 2.5. It's 5-1 or 6-1 in their last 6 or 7 on the spread. They've been rolling.
Did you know that Arizona's offense is only 25th in passing yards?
They've been quiet for like the last 3 weeks. It's just matchup oriented. They got a tough matchup against this Giants defense that's really been picking up steam in the past 3 or 4 weeks. I still like the Cardinals to get the win here. They're really struggling. It's not the worst matchup for them, but it's not the best either. It's not like they're playing the Jaguars or the Bengals or something like that. Giants, they're coming along and they're fighting for their division. Cardinals are doing the same. I still like the Cardinals to take the win here. I'm just going to take them on the money line. What do you think about the total?
The total of 47.
It's going to be close. I'm feeling the over.
23.5, right? Yeah, 23.5.
I'm feeling the over.
I'm gonna. Man, it's just so hard to believe that the New York Giants can possibly score 23 points.
Mm-hmm. Really? I mean,
yeah, because Darius Slayton is terrible. He hasn't been like a deep threat in any kind of way.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones turns the ball over just about 1 to 2 times a game. The only successful person is Wayne Gallman, but he's really filling in the role for Saquon Barkley, which the entire
he's doing very well. He's doing very well.
Yeah. Wayne Gallman's going to make some money. And, Evan Ingram, he isn't exactly the top tight end that we thought he'd be. From what I've seen, he's been healthy, though. That's good. I'm glad that. But
now we see what we get when he's actually, fully on 100%. Drops.
He's drops. A little tired. A little tired. But for me, it's just hard. Like, I'm not sure if Daniel Jones and the Goon Squad is going to be able to score 23 points against Buda Baker's defense. And that's where I'm really concerned about. I got the New York Giants into the Hizzy NFC East, division race. But I'm going to say Arizona pulls off the win. I'm going to say just on the money line. I have no idea how close it's going to be because,
I think it's going to be a close game.
It's so hard with Arizona. I mean, they should have been like one of the top passing offenses in the league, but really they're depending highly on Kyler. Very similar.
And D-Hop. And D-Hop. Pretty much that connection purely.
That connection, but when it's off, it's all on Kyler's shoulders, and it's very similar to how Lamar Jackson is being dependent on Baltimore. So I'm going to say they pull off the win, but I don't know how.
I think the Cardinals pull out the win, but I'm going to take the Giants to cover. I think it's going to be a 1-point, 2-point game. I think it's going to come down to last second field goal, whatever. Give me the Cardinals here. The Giants defense is playing well enough that I think that they're going to be, really in this game. Could go either way, but I'll still take the Cardinals on the money line, and I'll take the over 47 points. For the Giants, starting Wayne Gallman, no quarterback for me. No Alf. Sorry, don't get cute with starting Alfred Morris.
Put some respect on that guy's name.
He scored a touchdown last week. That's about as far as I'll go. Could come in and gobble a touchdown on the goal line. I'll fire up Sterling Shepard. I will fire up Evan Ingram in this matchup, but no Darius Slayton for me. Won't dig any farther than that.
He's killing me. I've benched him.
For the Cardinals, of course, you're starting Kyler Murray in Week 14. Absolutely. Can't get away from that. Larry Fitzgerald should be back. Not ready to fire him up just yet, but I do think that he is going to be moving the chains. He's going to be helping, but he just doesn't have that same upside as these other guys in fantasy. So I don't think it's a big week for Larry Fitzgerald, but I do think he'll grab 4 or 5 catches, not for a ton of yardage.
He lost 9 pounds
from COVID.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm going to say sit him and think about me. Like, if you're going to play Fitz, play Andy Isabella this week because Fitz is 9 pounds lighter. I mean, that's hard for a wide receiver, for someone that isn't really bulky, And
it's a pushing and shoving around type of game. I mean, you got to have everything behind that push off the offensive line.
I fully believe Larry Fitzgerald is still going to give his full effort, but it's just like that's 9 pounds that you don't have to generate more pressure. So I don't know. I'm gonna pass on Fitz, but give me Andy Isabella. Definitely give me Kirk. Give me Hopkins. Who's that tight end that we saw score? Dan
Arnold.
Give me him. I'll take him too because I'm glad that they've started to get a tight end involved in that game because the 4 wide receiver sets, they're cool, but
in video games and Madden.
Yeah, in video games and Madden, but you got to have like a bread and butter, and a tight end is a bread and butter type of formation. It just gives you a different look. Either you can block or either you can pass the ball with him. And if you have 4 wide, we pretty much know what you're doing. You know, so
to start that last game, Kyler Murray completed, I think it was 1 for 8 passes, and his only completion was to Dan Arnold. So when they were struggling early on, he was still able to find Dan Arnold and actually put him in the end zone for that 1 completion. I think it was like 1 for 37 or something
it was
crazy.
a long catch.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, yeah, fire up as many Cardinals as you can, except for Larry Fitzgerald. I'm going to say to fire up Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds this week as well.
Yeah.
Next matchup, we got the Texans traveling to Chicago. Texans coming in as -1 favorites on the road here, -128 on the money line. We got an over/under of 46 points. Houston 6-1 on the over in their last 7 games. The Bears, I believe, 13-4, 13-1 in their last 14 at home or something crazy. This is on the under the total. They've been going to the under trending in Chicago, but I'm going to take the over here, and I think Houston is actually going to win this game. I don't know why, if Mitch Trubisky is healthy, they're going to let him start this game. Dude's going to be a free agent. This is not the game that I want to see Mitch Trubisky go off and put up a bunch of points on the Texans. That's going to earn him a contract out of Chicago. But I think it might be. I could actually see, I'm not going to say a shootout, but I'm going to say we do hit the over here, and I'm going to say that the Texans cover and win.
Okay. Let me give you some rankings real fast.
Yep, please do.
Houston offense is second in passing yards, which is wild.
Wow.
And Chicago
ahead of Kyler Murray and company, all those weapons they have.
Way ahead. Chicago defense is 17th in passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's offense is last in rushing yards, and the Chicago defense is 18th in rushing yards. And for me, I loved watching the Chicago defense. I think that having to play so much defense at the beginning of the season has really worn them down. Because there's a lot of 3 and outs in Chicago.
And them on offense.
And them having to generate momentum from their position is very hard. And they gave it a good old college try. The first couple games, and you can see
they got A's their first semester, bro. They lit it up.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that everybody wanted to take off and party. After their first fall break.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you're starting to see them fall towards the middle of the pack. I feel like if they were actually had a competent offense and had a normal 50-50 ratio of offense to defense, they'd probably be a little bit higher in the pack. That's kind of shocking to me about Houston's offense, though. The passing yards, it's not really because it's Deshaun Watson, but just that it's actually second ranked, and the Kyler Murray offense is 25th. So that's just interesting.
D-Hop who?
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's wild.
It's only D-Hop. That's what it is. D-Hop gets you to 25th place, guys.
That's just nuts. Imagine if they still had him in Houston.
Yeah, seriously.
Be lighting it up. It wouldn't be worried about missing David Johnson this week. That's for sure. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to take the Texans to cover and win here. I want a lot of Texans options, but who I don't want is Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
I think he's going to get pulled out of this game. I'm saying he had a concussion last week. Houston saying he didn't. I call bullshit. I saw that the look in that dude's eyes after he got hit when he's on the sidelines. That dude had a concussion.
He's upgraded to probable, by the way.
That's fine. That's cool. Not starting him up against the Bears. Wide receiver graveyard. Corey Davis, everybody's been banging his drum. He has, I think it's at least 50 yards or a touchdown in every game, except for the game against the Bears. So I'm sitting me some Brandon Cooks, but give me some Kiki Kute. What was it? Chad Henson? I don't know.
Henson.
Might be a nice little DFS play. I'm just saying, bottom of the barrel, digging down deep. Could be an option for you guys. I'm just saying, I think Brandon Cooks is going to get checked out of this one early. If he is playing, it's still where wide receivers go to die this year is in Chicago, right? Obviously you're starting Deshaun Watson. I think Duke Johnson is probably getting played a ton in fantasy this week. But if you have the depth, I don't think you absolutely have to start him. It's just that if you're really locked in with DJ, he's probably, your guy. Or if you're one of those owners that, you had Gaskins, you had DJ, you had CMC, you're kind of in that mix. The DeAndre Washingtons, Gio Bernards, Duke Johnsons this week. Unfortunately, they are going to get a respectable amount of volume. So unless you're really floored into the position, I'm not saying you absolutely have to start the Duke Johnson. But like I said, give me Kute there, of course, Watson. Any of those tight ends?
No, stay away from Houston tight ends.
Yeah, I'm going to say no thank you. I'm going to say no thank you. For the Bears, fire up Mitch Trubisky. I know it sounds crazy, but fire up Mitch. It's a good matchup up against the Houston defense. I was just telling Nick, I think that, he could put up some points in this game, put up some numbers, earn himself a contract because he's not playing for the Bears next year. I don't think. He's not re-signed. He's not under contract.
Look, if Matt Flynn can get the contract that he got off his 6 quarters of play back in the 2010,
it can happen.
Mitch Trubisky can make some money in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do I have hope? No, I don't have hope. But it's always possible. I give him benefit of the doubt, and so if I wanted to make some money and I knew that this game was going to be a money making game, I'd be trying my hardest too. So maybe he balls out one game and then cheats another team.
Yep, I'm with it. Chicago Bears, I think David Montgomery is a top 5 lock this week. I think he's going to be rolling downhill up against that Houston Texans rushing defense. So give me all of David Montgomery. No Darnell Mooney for me. Allen Robinson, you got to fire him up. It's week 14 plus matchup up against the Houston Texans.
What about Cole Kmet?
Yep.
Okay.
Fire up Cole Kmet.
I kind of like him.
I said
some good stuff.
I said last week he scored a touchdown. I said on Thursday he'll score a touchdown this week up against the Texans. Sorry. Fire up Cole Kmet this week. Next matchup, we have the Broncos and the Panthers. Broncos, road dogs here, plus 3.5 on the spread, plus 165 on the money line. Over-under here is at 44.5 points. Panthers, they've been going through a bumpy COVID situation. They're going to be missing DJ Moore, but they did get back Curtis Samuel. I'm absolutely firing up Samuel and Anderson today. Mike Davis as well with CMC out. But is this a spot that you feel comfortable starting Teddy Bridgewater?
Okay. Let me answer that question really fast with some rankings. No.
Okay.
Because the passing yards for the Denver defense, considering how banged up they are, they haven't had Von Miller all year. They're 11th in passing yards
Against.
And Carolina's offense is 14th in passing yards. So
it's pretty even.
It's like a weakness going into a strength, So I think that it's going to be more of a Denver's has allowed 27th, or basically the 5th most rushing yards in the league. So I would be all over Mike Davis, be pounding that drum. Wait, Curtis Samuel's out. So
no, Curtis Samuel's in.
Oh, he's in. So
DJ Moore is out.
Okay, so Curtis Samuel, put him in. He's probably going to get like 100 rushing yards as well. Matt Rule loves to run him in the jet sweeps. I mean, I was very surprised to see that, but I'm happy to see that they're involving him in the game plan. But yeah, I'm going to go no Teddy. I'm going to give me all Mike Davis and give me Curtis Samuel. I'm happy with those choices.
Yeah, I'd prefer to sit out Teddy this week. What about for the Broncos? I'm not really comfortable starting Drew Lock either here. I don't think the Panthers defense has been bad enough to say like, oh yeah, he's a lock, fire him up for sure. Melvin Gordon, give him to me. I mean, he's just been looking better than Lindsey recently. I'll take me some Tim Patrick. Jerry Jeudy,
definitely take Tim Patrick. I think Tim Patrick is the star. I think
star is a big word.
Well,
big word
with everything that's happened with Cortland Sutton and stuff like that.
I think he's the most reliable guy.
I think he's going to be a great number 2 when Cortland Sutton comes back. And I think Jerry Jeudy might fall into maybe that 2-3 range where they go in and out, they switch interchangeably. I'm really disappointed with Lindsey. Melvin Gordon has been breaking more runs than Lindsey has. Lindsey had like that 155-yarder, and that's basically been his longest run in his and there hasn't been anything really close to that. But Melvin Gordon gets like chunk plays of like 30, 40, 50. He ain't scoring, but he's getting those yardage. And when you start adding those yardage up at the end of the game, you're looking like, holy shit, Melvin Gordon had 120 yards. Hell yeah, he did. So I'm in agreement on that. Noah Fant, he's so hot and cold, man. He gets like that one reception for 30 yards, and then he's either hurt or he's kind of done for the game, or he doesn't really get too much after that. I don't know, man. It's Noah Fant. I got a lot of hope for him as a person and as a player, but fantasy wise, I'm gonna have to sit him.
Yeah, I'm recency bias. The numbers just aren't there for me. The consistency isn't there. It's been a long way since week 3, week 4, and 5 for Noah Fant. And we're just not getting the same player that we did in the first handful of games of the season. So I'm going to say to bench him as well. Really just want to throttle my Panthers options here. Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Mike Davis. The Broncos, I mean, Tim Patrick, and that's it for me, to be honest. I mean, Melvin Gordon, too. I forgot about him. But Jerry Jeudy, not there for me this week. I do think he can take a step forward next year. I mean, a lot of his mistakes have been like rookie mistakes. Like, the bad things that we've seen from Jerry Jeudy have all been things like, well, it's kind of a rookie move. That guy's missing OTAs. That guy's missing a full offseason type of situation. So I'll be looking for him again next year. Tim Patrick, again, he's good. I don't know about being necessarily a star. So,
well, I mean, he's a star considering the situation that they are in, and I mean, he's the first Broncos since what was it, Brandon Marshall, that had 3 100-yard games, which was probably about 3 or 4 years of play. I think that when Courtland Sutton comes back, it's going to take the pressure off of him to have to carry the passing load and allow Tim Patrick to be a complement to him. And Jerry Jeudy, you're right. That was a very astute observation. They don't have OTAs. He didn't have all that chemistry stuff. And even with all that stuff, he's still having plays where he's just like calling for the 9 route and then hitting the curl and then spinning out and getting a touchdown. Like I'll say there's a lot more flashes from Jerry Jeudy than Henry Ruggs right now. And I'm not trying to like blast Henry Ruggs, but Jerry Jeudy has given a lot more on tape where you're just like,
absolutely.
Man, if he just like, focuses a little bit more, someone work with him a little bit more on the jugs machine, he's going to be a great star. And I have a lot of hope for Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to the next matchup here. We got the Vikings and the Buccaneers. Vikings road dogs +7 on the road, +255 on the money line. We got an over/under here of 52.5 points. Tampa home favorites, of course, -305 on the money line. I'm going to be taking Tampa here, but I don't know if I love the spread. I feel like the Vikings have kind of been coming along recently, and I feel like they have enough offensive firepower to, keep the Buccaneers defense on the sideline for a little, or I'm sorry, their offense on the sideline for a good while and kind of play hot and cold with Tom Brady here.
Give me Minnesota covering and then give me the under. I'm going to play contrarian on this one because
a lot of people are taking the over.
A lot of people it's 66% on the over, which is 52.5, and then also 64% is on Tampa Bay covering. So for me, I feel like that's kind of like a Tom Brady effect. Like everybody's expected Tom Brady to be Tom Brady of the past 20 years, but this isn't the Tom Brady that we've seen. He's had like games, but he hasn't had like blocks of games where we're like, oh, okay, Tom Brady's back. He's about to start hitting his stride. It's been a struggle. It's been an uphill battle. And, I would say when he was in New England, when he struggled, Bill kind of kept it in-house. Like, it was between him and Bill. But with Bruce, Bruce is like, dude, we're kind of getting frustrated. Like, we brought Antonio Brown.
Your deep ball sucks, Tom.
Yeah, we brought Antonio Brown. We brought Rob Gronkowski, and you still suck. We brought Leonard Fournette. He's not even playing. Like, they try to make a super team around him, and Tom Brady isn't being successful. So I feel like that there's a lot of they're giving him a lot of credit for the back of his football card, and they're not looking at this year. And even with Minnesota like struggling at the beginning apart, they started 1-5. They're now 6-6. I'm going to say Minnesota at least covers, and I'm going to say it's going to go to the under because both teams are going to kind of have trouble. They're going to put the ball with Dalvin Cook into the ground.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. I still think that the Buccaneers here, I think they're going to have plenty of offense today. The Vikings defense is a good spot for the Buccaneers, and they're also playing at home, so I think that lends some upside as well. The Buccaneers receivers, I think they're going to have a nice day today. Mike Evans, he looks like he's good to go. He's been kind of banged up this week, but I think Evans finds the end zone. I think Brown gets a good amount of volume. Godwin's got those pins removed out of his hands. He was playing with them in. I think we're looking for a big Godwin day today as well. I think the loser here is going to be Rojo. Even though that they've been talking about giving him even more love, I feel like this is also a game where they can kind of do some more creative things with Leonard Fournette and kind of get him rolling up against this bad Vikings defense. So I'm going to stay away from the spread, but I'm going to take the Buccaneers to win, and I'm going to go the over here. I know a lot of people are on it, but I feel like the defense is bad enough for the Vikings that the Buccaneers can push the number. And the Vikings, they've just got enough offense to battle down the field with Jefferson and Thielen. So it could also be a slower day for Dalvin Cook because that front seven for the Buccaneers is damn good. Not saying that Dalvin Cook won't find the end zone, won't get a handful of catches even, but we've seen some slow starts for Dalvin Cook in the first half of some weeks. I think this could be one of those opportunities. So I'll take the over 52.5, and I'll take the Buccaneers on the money line.
Just some rankings on the front seven. So Tampa Bay's defense is the number 1 rush defense in the league. Their pass defense is 22nd.
So I'm saying, like Jefferson
and seven are doing their job for sure.
So I'm saying Thielen and Jefferson should be able to get some work done today. Dalvin Cook could be in some trouble. So let's move on to the next one. We got the Chiefs and the Dolphins here. Chiefs road favorites -7 on the money line. minus 335. Or, Jesus, I did that again. Minus 7 on the spread, minus 335 on the money line. Over under is at 50.5. Man, with Myles Gaskins out of this game, I do not love the Dolphins offense with Tua. Like if Fitzpatrick was starting, I'd be pumped for this game.
Yeah,
I'd be pumped.
Been a really good game.
But right now, I'm inkling towards the under here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the under. I mean, they seem to like it's weird. I don't like when I look at their scores and I look at the box score. It's like how are they generating those points?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't get it. With DeAndre Washington, he's a very different player than Myles Gaskins.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Tua in, my man Devontae Parker has been barely holding on to his lead back and forth. I don't even know where we're at right now, but it's not giving me any hope
between DJ Shark and Devontae Parker.
Yeah. But I'm gonna say that Miami covers. They are 9-3 against the spread. Kansas City is 6-6. So I'm gonna say that they cover. But I'm gonna say that it's gonna hit. I'm going to say it's going to hit the under, and it's not that the Kansas City offense isn't going to be lighting up. It's going to be the Miami offense not lighting up. Like I have a lot of hope for Tua. It's just I don't know. It kind of feels like remember when John Fox was with Mitch Trubisky and he just like refused to let him play. He just like ran the ball all the time. I feel like they're kind of doing something similar to Tua. It's just like, dude, like you got to let him work. Like this is a bad style of play because you're not opening up for the possibility of him having success. You're really limiting his success and just taking away the risk. And you're just playing really conservative. So I'm going to say Miami covers, and it's going to hit the under.
I'm going to go the other way. Well, at least I'm going to stay on the under with you, but I'm going to say the Chiefs cover on this one. I just don't think there's going to be any offense for the Dolphins today. Like I'm fading as many Dolphins as I can. If you have to start DeAndre Washington, okay, I get it. I get it. But I don't love Devontae Parker today. Mike Gesicki, that's about it. Like for the Dolphins, that's the only guy I can actually say to start. And I'm not a Mike Gesicki guy. Watch the show.
He's definitely not. I'm Mike Gesicki all the way. I got him on my team, but he is not.
I'm TD Hawkinson. I got him on my team. That's where I went in the back end of my draft. Wasn't a Gesicki guy, but right now he's Tua's guy.
Yes.
That's just a matter of the fact. And I don't think Gesicki was necessarily as high end of a tight end with Fitzpatrick. With the switch, it's kind of like, instead of Devontae Parker, let's target Mike Gesicki a bunch. With Fitzpatrick, it's the other way. I don't know. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover here. I just don't like them. I just don't like the Dolphins this week. Obviously, you're firing up every single Kansas City Chief you can, even up against a stout Miami defense who has played well up against the run. They've played well up against the pass. Xavier Howard is one of my candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. He has been a shutdown corner, but there's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce today. Like I'm firing up all of Travis Kelce in DFS today. Give me all of that, dude. Tyreek Hill's still going to get his. While maybe he doesn't go off for a ton of yards, I do think that he will find the end zone, and I think he's going to have a very fantasy-relevant day. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Sammy Watkins, Kelce, give me everybody. Are you ever going to sit Mahomes? Nah, not happening.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's nothing much more to say. Xavier Howard is someone to keep an eye out on. I mean, you might see Patrick Mahomes throw maybe one interception. I don't know. But it's probably going to come with 3 to 4 touchdowns. And that's absolutely possible. No one can cover Tyreek Hill's speed. When he throws up the deuces, I was telling Justin, I was like, it seems like he accelerates.
He gets faster.
Yeah, like it's just like, aren't you supposed to pump your arms to get faster? No, he just throws up the deuces and he goes faster.
See ya.
So no one can cover that. And Kelce, his pirouette in the middle of the field is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. I think it's automatic almost every single time. And I think that I think Travis Kelce is going to have the biggest game out of everybody here just because he's so uncoverable.
Yep. We got him locked into my DFS lineup. Fire him up today. I'm going to be taking all of his props as well.
Play him as a captain.
Oh, yeah.
That might be a good play.
Absolutely. Next up, we got the Colts and the Raiders. Colts road favorites -2.5 on the spread, -161 on the money line. Over under is at 52.5 points. Vegas expecting a lot of points here. I don't know if I love that.
You want to hear the ratio?
Who's on the under? What's the percentage on the under?
29%.
I don't know, man. I might be on that under.
Hit the under, dude. Hit the under.
Yeah.
That's the game where they're going to try and get everybody's money because you're thinking, oh, T.Y. Hilton's, lighting up, Josh Jacobs coming back, Derek Carr's riding off of a high of a fourth.
No Josh Jacobs for me this week.
I'm gonna say no to all that, and I feel like it's gonna be a slugfest and a drag out, pound the ball kind of game. It's 47 degrees in there. Where are they at? Oh, they're at Allegiant Stadium.
They're in Vegas, yeah.
So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I think that these teams are just going to be ramming heads the entire time. I think there's going to be not as much offensive explosion as we've seen from both teams. I'm going to hit the under on that.
I agree. I still think the Colts win this one. I'm going to stay away from this spread, though. The Colts just look like the better team. The Raiders, they're fighting for a playoff position here, so they've got an edge. But again, the Colts just look like the better team. Good coaching, great depth. And we talk about it all the time. And we don't know what direction this team is going to go for fantasy in a given week because they have a three-headed monster at running back. They have depth at wide receiver. They have depth at tight end. You don't know where the ball is going to go. I do have T.Y. Hilton in my lineup this week. He has been coming on, and I do like the spot up against the Raiders. But a lot of people are still high on Michael Pittman. Are you still ready to fire up Michael Pittman after his, brief success that he had for 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, honestly, I think the reason why T.Y. Hilton has had his recent success is because everyone was keen on Michael Pittman, and it just kind of freed him up. So then Philip Rivers, being the veteran quarterback that he was, saw the switch and was like, "All right, let's go, T.Y." And that's why he's had the success. And you know what? Now that they got two guys, defense has got to figure out how to cover two guys, and it just makes Philip Rivers' jobs a little bit easier. I think from the beginning of the season, he hasn't had a really consistent second receiver to capture defense's attention because Paris Campbell went out, Zach Pascal went out, and it was just it was a carousel of receivers, and it was just hard for that offense to get clicking in that sense. And Ty also was just getting covered because he was the only one consistently there. So I'm still firing up Michael Pittman because I think that the offense is humming along. But I think that this game is going to, be a slugfest in terms of slowing down the points, trying to keep the ball away from the other team, and just, kind of parking the bus in a sense instead of having overpowering offense.
Starting about Philip Rivers?
Fuck no.
No Philip Rivers in the playoffs.
To curse like that. Philip Rivers, no, I'm sorry. He's okay. But he's not. There's way better options elsewhere, and I think he could throw 2 interceptions this week just because he's trying to push the ball somewhere.
Yeah. No worries on the swear words, man. You can say whatever the fuck.
No,
you
I
want.
know. I try and
whatever the fuck you want.
I know. I just try and be, a little bit more professional when I'm.
This is church, man. This is church. All right. Peace be with you. How the hell are you? Let's see, for the Raiders, man, it's tough to say, but I'm sitting Josh Jacobs, man. I can't do it up against this stout Colts defense. He's been banged up, he's hurt. The Raiders need him, but I feel like he's going to be playing some decoy out there, and I just don't love him wedging up the middle. I don't love it. I think he could actually get pulled from this game. So I got to fade Josh Jacobs. No Henry Ruggs for me. I'll start Nelson Aguilar. I do still think there's some value for him. I just hope they run Henry Ruggs straight into Kenny Moore all day long because Kenny Moore has been a huge factor for them on defense. I hope they just use Ruggs as a deep penetration threat downfield and try to clear up some open space because I'm rooting for Derek Carr. I'm a fan. I've been on his bus all year. I've been following him, been loving him. He did everything he could to try and get me to the playoffs. He did everything that he could. He won me my matchup. He matched Baker Mayfield point for point last week. He did everything he could for me. I fell 20 points short. So I'm still rooting for him, but I can't say to start him this week.
I get you. Shout out to Kenny Moore, by the way, because me and Justin had a talk off camera about how we're in an IDP league, and he said something that I didn't really know about because this was my first time doing IDP, and he was like, "Oh, with corners, you get pass deflection. It was 1 or 2 points.
It's 2 points.
It's 2 points. Yeah, that's what really changed my idea because I was like, I was going for the guys for the sacks because I had Aaron Donald.
Well, sacks are a 5 fucking point play. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but I know that sacks are a lot more occurring than interceptions. So for me, I went for the sack guys, and I've had a lot of success with that. But he told me, it's a corner league, with that scoring. And I was like, there's a lot of pass deflections. There's a lot of,
well, it's just a passing league now.
Yeah.
Just the way that the NFL works is you can just really prop up those IDP, defensive backs because there's just always passing matchups all over, the Vikings corners right now. They're bad. They're all bad. But I guarantee one of them can put up 8 to 13 points in IDP this week because someone's going to be covering Brown and Godwin.
Yeah. So Kenny Moore that week, after having that talk with Justin, he got me like 13 points. I was like, whoa! Like I just picked him up off that week because I was like, oh, he's on the Colts defense. They're doing okay. Maybe I can get like maybe an interception.
He's solid, dude.
Yeah, and he did really well, and I was like, hell yes, I might ride him to the championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's solid, and you're in good position to do it. So I hope you can take it to the Hizzy for you. Smash the like button, support the channel, y'all.
Yep.
Let's see. Next up, we got the Jets and the Seahawks.
Trap game.
Wow. A -15 on the spread for the Seahawks at home. -1,200 on the money line. Thank you, sportsbooks. So much. No value. We're not giving you free money for this win. Nope. Won't do it. Over-unders at 48 points. Can we hit the total before anything?
Yes.
You're saying it's a trap game. I'm not going to be betting the spread or the money line.
Give me the Jets to win.
Oh, my God.
I think the Jets are going to win this game. Seattle's offense, like, for some reason, they are so hot and cold. Like, there are some games where you're just like, if they hit on all cylinders, they're going to the Super Bowl and more.
Mm-hmm.
But when they are off, it is really, really bad. And I think that they're slipping right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're kind of reeling from their recent unsuccess. And I think that the New York Jets have been doing better offensively. There has been, Sam Darnold was a fantasy option last week because I was playing against him and I was like, what the hell is happening right now? But
I feel that.
I think that they're going to win. That this is the game where they could possibly win because Seattle's offense is slipping from where they could have been.
Sure.
And I think that this could be a game where Seattle sees where they really messed up. And I think it could propel them into a deep run into the playoffs because they're like, we are never going to let that happen again.
Right. While I am not on the spread, while I am not on the money line because their values are just complete shit, they're shite, I'm still taking the Seahawks here. Like you mentioned, you mentioned, they're hot, they're cold. They're going to be hot this week up against the Jets, okay?
What is hot to you?
They're not going to lose. They're not going to lose. I don't care. I don't care if they cover 15 points or they don't. I'm not like anyone that says like, oh, this team's going to win by 21. This team's going to win by 15. Like, you're just crazy. Like anything can happen in the NFL. We saw it last week with the Jets and the Raiders, but Seahawks are still going to take care of business here. They did take one on the chin from another New York team last week, the Giants at home. I think they show some pride. I think they stand up. I'm going to put the game over the total. That's what I feel good about is the 48 points here.
I agree.
I do think the Jets can score some points, maybe even, toe-to-toe with the Seahawks in the first half. But 4 quarters, the Jets are not a complete football team. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win. Maybe the Jets keep it close in the first half, kind of, showing up with some pride, this, that, and the other. But they're also banged up too. Frank Gore had a concussion last week. It looks like he's going to be good to go. But let's see, Denzel Mims, he's going to be out. Perriman, he's banged up. Crowder's banged up. Like, I've been saying Braxton Berrios touchdown this week. Give me the Braxton Berrios prop.
Yeah, the best guy on the team, Braxton Berrios, man.
He's the best guy in the team.
He's going to tear up the Seattle defense. Quandre Diggs and Shaquille Griffin won't be able to do nothing against them. It's going to be crazy.
It'll be a DJ Reed week because I'm out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
So DJ Reed will go off for a 20-point IDP game. So,
And then KJ Wright will have 15 tackles.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Kiss it with the Seahawks. Keep it simple. Plug in all your guys. Give me Carson. Give me Russ. Give me Metcalf. Give me Lockett for the Jets. Sam Darnold, Ty Johnson. If you get some good news that Frank Gore is out of this game, but that's about it. I'm not firing up any Jets in my playoffs. Sorry. Next up, we have the Packers and the Lions. No value here right now on the money line. Looks like they've got a lot of action on this game. But the Packers are 8.5 on the spread. I don't know if I love that number. I like 7. 8. I like 7.5. I like 7 flat. I don't know if I love the 8.5. There's been some movement there, it looks like. Because I believe Emron had this one locked in at 7.5 or 7. And I like that number a lot more. So I'm going to take the Packers to win and cover. We don't have a total here. I'm going to say 55.
Yeah.
Give me the under. What? 55?
I'm gonna say the over.
Wow. I don't think the line's got enough, man.
See, I think they do.
Oh.
I think that they do have enough. I think Matt Patricia being gone and Darren Bevell being the coach,
It helps.
I think it has invigorated them. I mean, shit. What Houston has done since Bob has left has been nothing short of incredible, to be completely honest, based on what was happening there.
Sure.
And
Falcons, they have some decent spots too, but they haven't been great. You know,
they haven't been great
since losing their coach.
Detroit Lions won a division game last week.
Hey, Mitch Trubisky lost a division game last week. I'm not even going to talk about that.
Doesn't even matter. It's a W in their book, and I think that gives them a little bit of energy. I think that this game is going to be close. I'm going to say that it's going to hit the over, and I'm going to say Detroit covers. I'm not going to say Detroit wins, but I'm going to say Detroit covers. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to ball out at the last second and bail everybody out. But I think that Detroit is at least going to cover this game. Yeah,
the Lions losing Jeff Okudah, like they've lost all upside on defense, in my opinion. I feel like it's an Aaron Rodgers like 34-7. 34-10 type of game. Like I feel like the Packers are going to go off, win, cover. We don't have a number by the book. Where are you getting that 55?
Shark.
Yeah, I feel like that's not going to be as live a number. I feel like that's going to come lower. So if you're really on it, I mean, get to it. Hammer that over. Yeah, I just don't see it from the Lions this week. The only person I like there, DeAndre Swift. You had a receiver that you'll start?
Quentin Cephas.
You'll start Quentin Cephas. In week 14, it's way too risky for me.
Oh, I mean,
like where did we get to the Atlanta game yet? They got Julio out. Like I'll prop up Olamide Zaccheaus or Russ Gage there. That's the next game we got up. But man, Cephas, like I like it. And the Lions like him. They love him. They cut Marvin Hall, who was scoring touchdowns for him. Like I get it down the line.
Lions move ever. Like it did not make any sense. It was like, what? Okay, so thanks for your 100 yards, but we're gonna have to cut you right now.
We like this guy more. And Cephas scored a touchdown last week up against the Bears, and their defense is good, but I just don't like the spot up against the Packers. I know they're at home, but Packers, man, they just look best in class right now in the division, potentially the conference. We were talking up Aaron Rodgers as potential MVP. They're just two different teams, kind of going back to like the Seahawks and the Jets. Jets can't play 4 quarters of football. Neither can the Lions. I mean, the Lions, they came out in the second half last week and they killed the Bears. They killed them. They rallied and they did the damn thing. Respect to them. Hats off to them. But I was talking to you about their offensive line issues before the show. Last week, they had some success up against the Bears. Only allowed 2 sacks. They combined for 9 the previous 2 games before that. So I think it's going to be a harder time for the Lions this week. I'm going to take the Packers to win, cover, and I'm going to take the under here. Any Packers you're not starting?
Probably MVS. Just based on what I've seen film-wise, it seems to be a lot more Alan Lazard being featured as a
quick tidbit. Alan Lazard is at a 60-snap cap for this week, apparently, dealing with some nagging injuries. I still feel like that type of language coming out of the locker room means he's scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like just, hey, look this way. No, we're still going to get him a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, all those options are live. You can't start all of them, though. Like Aaron Rodgers, we've seen him go through those 4-5 look progressions and hit the 4th or 5th guy, in the end zone. I just don't feel comfortable with Lazard or MVS today. I feel like in week 14, we got to stick to our big guns here with Jones, Adams, of course, Rodgers. I think it's a Rob Tonyan week 2. I think Rob Tonyan comes down with a touchdown, especially if Lazard is on account. MVS, he could find a deep one, but I feel like his role this week is more oriented for DFS and not standalone fantasy value. I feel like it could be a lot of Devontae Adams, 13 catches, couple reception touchdowns,
classic game,
120, 140 receiving yards. I'm feeling it, man. I mean, who's going to stop him?
No one.
No, who's going to be shadowing him? I mean, their best guy, Jeff Okudah, is going to be out.
Is Jeff Okudah their best guy, though?
Who's the other DB?
I don't know. I know that.
Then it's Jeff Okudah, the guy that they hired to replace Darius Slay. He was doing pretty well before he went out. He was doing well, but he's a good man up guy.
I just saw that he was having like struggles at the beginning of the season. I kind of like wrote him off because CJ Henderson was popping off, so my attention was elsewhere. And now he's gone, and I don't know. I was just seeing how he was doing.
He was doing pretty good after about week 4 until just recently when he got hurt. So next up, we got the Falcons and the Chargers. We got to pick them here. Chargers at home, Falcons going on the road. Over under is at 49.5. We have no value right now on the money line. I will take I feel like this is a trap number at the 49.5 because Matt Ryan going on the road, I don't love that. I don't love Matt Ryan today. I like some of his weapons and, some of those back-end receivers that I think hold a little bit more value this week. I like Calvin Ridley. I don't like the running backs. What do you think about the total? What do you think about 49.5? I'm feeling the under here.
49.5, their averages don't even hit their averages do hit 49, but just barely.
No, that's why it's a good number.
So I'm going to say the under. I'm going to say that 61% is on the 49 for the over. I'm going to play contrarian here. I just everybody kind of like last week, everybody expected Justin Herbert to at least have maybe like a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. Nah, he was shut the fuck out by Bill Belichick. So I feel like that this is kind of like one of those games where you're just like expecting a lot of firepower, but ends up being like, a dirty game or, it just doesn't look pretty. And, it ends up being like 17-20 win and it doesn't even hit the over. And no one's happy with the fantasy production. So I see that happening.
Well, I'm going 180 on that shit. So I'm still taking the under, but give me all the fucking Chargers I can get because it's going to be a big Justin Herbert week. Got him in my DFS, locked in with Austin Eckler, and taking Mike Williams. Mike Williams today will not score a touchdown. He will score 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Lock it in. It's going to be a big Mike Williams day. I still think Keenan Allen's going to have his steady roll, probably 6 to 8 catches here. The Falcons' secondary is bad. AJ Terrell is solid, but I feel like it's going to be him and Mike Williams today a lot. And if it's not him, it's going to be him and Keenan Allen. Either way, he's going to be outgunned by either an elite possession receiver or one of the biggest bodies in the end zone.
Yeah.
So give me all of Mike Williams, Herbert, Allen, Eckler. Looks like Justin Jackson's getting activated from IR. Ignore that noise. Don't need to be getting him into your lineup. No Josh Kelly either. Eckler's solid. He's going to be rolling today. I know that the Falcons have a good rush defense. Expect Eckler to grab 8 to 10 catches today. I'm telling you. Herbert's going to be lights out. Lock him in DFS today. Or don't, because I'm starting him and I would like to make some money.
You guys ready for some rankings on this?
Appreciate that.
I mean, everything that he said is absolutely true. So Atlanta's defense is the 3rd worst passing defense in the league. They are the 2nd. They allow the 2nd most yards per play for a defense. And the Chargers offense is 4th in passing yards, number 1 in number of plays on offense, which is very interesting. And then time on field 4. So, man, I feel like Atlanta's defense is just going to get completely gassed, and it's not like they're good enough.
And they're going on the road.
Yeah.
So that's really what I don't love. Like if this game was in Atlanta, I would be firing up Matt Ryan, but he has just been so. I don't even know if I can say hot. He's just been cold, just meh, just bleh. Like what upside has Matt Ryan shown, especially with Julio Jones out of the lineup?
Yeah.
Just a chain mover, just a guy that keeps drives alive, right? He's not going to be there. Calvin, really? I can't sit him in week 14. I can't say to do that.
But I have like a 7 for 70 game.
But I will prop up some Russell Gage, who had a pretty good game last week with Julio in the lineup. He's going to be out this week. It's kind of Gage or Zacchaeus. You got to take a gamble there one way or the other if you're hurting at wide receiver, because I think one of them is going to have a steady diet today. And I will fire up Hayden Hurst as well, but no running backs.
Okay.
No Todd Gurley, no Hill, no Smith, nobody. Sorry. Anything else there to wrap it up?
Nope.
All right, next one we got the Saints and the Eagles. Meh. This game's going to be poo-poo. I'm telling you, it's going to suck. Eagles, they're starting Jalen Hurts. How long he's in the game, I really don't know. I realistically feel like he could get pulled at half if he's not getting it done. I'm almost anticipating 2 turnovers from him by halftime.
I can see that.
If the Saints go up quick, it's not going to be great for Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Do we have an update on Latavius Murray? If he's going to be in this lineup? Because if Latavius Murray is healthy, it's not a good spot for Alvin Kamara this week.
Not even on the list.
All right. Well, if he's not on the list, then she should be playing. So not great. Because if the Saints get up by a lot, it could be a very similar situation that we saw up against the Broncos. Mm-hmm. Like the Eagles, I don't see offense coming from them today. I really don't. The Saints, they do allow some upside to quarterback or opposing quarterbacks in fantasy, but it's not consistent, and it hasn't been up against, mediocre or less than average quarterbacks like a Jalen Hurts, who went 5 for 12, interception and a touchdown. Hey, you're our guy, buddy. Get in there. Go make some passes. Go run around a little bit. We're going to sit Wentz down. And this morning I'm reading news that they're like, yeah, we're not even moving on from Wentz. We just got to see what we can get from the kid.
That's what I said last week.
Yeah, like how though? Like we've been trying to figure it out for probably like 8 days how they could trade Wentz or move Wentz. They can't.
Yeah,
they just can't.
There's probably not even a market for him.
Like there's no voodoo in the cap space anywhere that's going to be able to help him, move some numbers off the books. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, the Eagles are going to see what they get out of Jalen Hurts this week. I don't know. Maybe they just want to pack it in and race to the bottom, get a better draft pick. But I'm not expecting anything from the Eagles today. I am sitting Miles Sanders, week 14, benching Miles Sanders. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Carson. This is what it's come to. I'm fading all Eagles except for Dallas Goedert.
I agree.
That's it. The Saints, yeah, you can't get away from Alvin Kamara, but it's going to be a dangerous start this week potentially because if Latavius Murray is healthy and rolling, I see a lot of Taysom Hill and Latavius Murray in this matchup because as we saw up against the Broncos, they did not need to floor their guys, their primary weapons. Does Mike Thomas still have a good week? Yeah, I think so. Slant Boy's been doing his thing up the middle of the field. I don't think he's been complaining about those slant routes for 9 catches, 100 yards. Haven't heard any complaints from MT. I would like some touchdowns. How many does Hopkins have? 4?
Yeah, still stuck on
I need 4 touchdowns today, Mike Thomas. Let's go. Let's get back in this race. Let's get dry this offseason, huh? Come on, brother. 4 touchdowns, please. Firing up all of Taysom Hill. He's been elite since coming on for the Saints.
Do you think he's worth his contract?
Yeah. I mean, realistically, how much is one win worth to you? 10 million, 5 million in the NFL?
I mean, let's just go with Kirk Cousins. I know that he's making at least $30 million, and he only has 6 wins, so that's about a $5 million per.
But they're in the race for the division now.
They're in the race for the division,
so he's well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, but with New Orleans, they're 10-2. What was the last 4 games?
Mm-hmm. He hasn't lost a game.
Yeah, so 16, so only $4 million per win, and it's probably going to go down in terms of per win cost.
Well, I'll tell you to look at it like this with like the economics of the NFL. There's no fans in the stands right now, or at least not as many, right? But when you win a game, your team makes a fuck ton more money.
Yeah.
Concessions, jerseys, paraphernalia on the way out the door. You're making more money on wins. You don't make as much money on losses. Like when we went to the football game last year with the football team and the Bears, do you think football fans were buying paraphernalia on the way out the door? Were they pumped? No, they were carrying their sorry asses to the parking lot to get home. Us Bear fans were like, "Where's the Bear shit?"
I was running for the car. It was embarrassing being there. I felt like I was in Chicago, to be completely honest.
Chicago East, baby. That's what we did. We did the damn thing. But with the Saints, he's worth every damn penny. They haven't lost a game with Drew Brees out of the lineup in 2 years. They're doing things right with their backup quarterbacks in New Orleans. So yeah. Fire up all of Taysom Hill. He's been nothing but elite since coming on for Drew Brees. I hope they ride him out to the end of the season. If you're going to let Brees come back, let him do it in the playoffs. Get him just like that super motivation. Like, I'm here. I'm ready. We're back. Let's go. I'm ready for the run, the Super Bowl run. Let's do it. Just fully rested. 150% ready to go for the playoffs, right? And the only threat they have in the conference is the Packers for home field. That's it. Taysom Hill can still win them home field, in my opinion. So I say ride him out. Next up, we got the football team and the 49ers. Football team is my dog in the Hizzy division race for the NFC East. The worst of the worst. I don't know if they're getting no dub this week. They don't have a great track record historically up against the 49ers. Now, it is weird because the 49ers are playing a home game in someone else's home. It's kind of weird. But I still think that the travel, the logistics, the kind of like just the dead even matchup to me, to be perfectly honest. Like both of these teams are really gritty. They're both playing really good football in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Mind you, the 49ers really took one on the chin up against the Bills, but I still felt that like they played with a lot of pride in the beginning of that game. And this matchup is a lot friendlier for the 49ers. And I think that they're going to take it to the football team. I'm going to take the 49ers to cover 3 points at Arizona's home, at home. They're minus 150 on the money line. Total here is 43.5. I think they cover. Just something tells me, though, something about the football team can manage to win this game by a point. I'm going to take them on the money line. I got to. They're my dog. I got to root for my guys. 43.5 is the total here. I'm going to take the over, too.
Well, as a person that has watched Washington football for at least the past decade,
You watched Redskins football, sir.
it's Washington football. It's still underneath Dan Snyder. It's the same crew.
We fired him.
So what I'm going to say is what they like to do is they get on an extremely high on like winning like a big game. Like I remember one game they won against Seattle with Kirk Cousins not knowing who was blocking for him. And, that was a very incredible win. Like, I thought that kind of saved Jay's job. Obviously, it didn't. And, what I'm going to say.
Bought him some time.
It bought him at least to the end of the season. And I'm going to say that this is because, like, right now, 55% of the money is on Washington to cover. And
there is a lot of hype from the Steelers game.
Yeah,
like, you gotta feel that, right?
Everybody thinks that, Washington is the real deal. And because they beat Pittsburgh, it's really exciting. It's a new team. Guys, it's the same crew. They just changed their name. Like, that's all they did. It's the same crew. And I think that, everybody, if everybody's betting on Washington right now, that's the perfect time for the casinos to switch it on everybody.
Who was the coach before Gruden? That was the last coach, right?
Yeah, Gruden was the last.
And then who was before that?
Zorn.
And before that?
It was, I want to say Gibbs.
Okay, so Gibbs, Zorn, Gruden, Ron Rivera, different animal, man. Just a different animal. Like, I feel like that dude has changed at least a locker room culture around. And to me, on Sundays, that's what matters the most. Now, I get it. All of that stuff, all of the off the field, kind of antics and like bad PR and all that stuff. It does play into it. Like, you're on that football team, right? And that's behind you, like you kind of have to hear about that, like the rufflings in the background. I just feel like this group is really tight right now. And I feel like saying like they're going to win by a point, 2 points. Like, yeah, sure. It's hyping them up some, but this is going to be a dead even game here. Like, this is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be any team's win here. I just feel like the football team, they're riding a little bit more upside. The Niners, they're playing with a ton of pride. It's going to be a dogfight. I'm really looking forward to the game. I think the Niners cover. Like I said, I think the football team wins. It can go either way. It's a coin flip. I don't care what anyone says.
The biggest matchup of the entire game is going to be Trent Polar Bear Williams against Chase Predator Young on the left side.
Yeah, that's good. That'll be fun.
You got to watch that matchup. That is going to be exciting, and it is going to determine who wins the game, because if Trent can keep Chase, off of Nick Mullins' back, I think Nick Mullins can definitely light up the defense.
Nick Mullins has been looking good.
Yeah, but if Nick Mullins is running for his life from Chase Young, then it's going to be a long damn day. I don't see Shanahan really pushing the ball towards Chase Young a bunch, maybe a couple times, but they're going to be keeping the ball away from Chase Young.
You don't want to go outside. Like, the outside zone works really well up against all teams, but up against a freak like that, like, you don't want Chase Young in space.
No.
You don't want to be trying to beat him outside the numbers, because he can move laterally very well. All right. He can get outside the numbers and be a run stuffer anywhere off the line. So, yeah. Trent, that's going to be a huge matchup this week. I do lend some more upside to the 49ers offensive line. Like, I think their offensive line is just as good, if not better still, than the Steelers offensive line.
I would put, right now, I would put the 49ers line against above the Dallas line, just below the Colts line, just because the Colts have so many people across the entire board. And it's just like,
and they have depth too. Like,
they're really effing good.
Their young guys really come on and give support too.
But Trent Williams, Mike McGlinchey, Weston Richburg, Lakeland Tomlinson, those guys are legit, man. And Mike McGlinchey, he was like the first round pick out of Notre Dame. I loved him at Notre Dame, and I was really excited to see that he's going to, Shanahan offense. And now with Trent Williams being there, he got to be able to play on the right side instead of the left side. So it'll ease him in a little bit more into the offensive tackle.
They've been moving Trent around like crazy. I mean, today, I think we know where he's going to be. But his ability, and really, I think it's just Shanahan and the offense, like their flexibility and their creativity to use him all on each side of the line and get those wide gapping holes on the outside. Like, he sets all of that up. He's such a big, an important piece to that offensive line. So
I would buy his jersey.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Football team, it's tough with the fantasy options here. Like McKissick, I think he's going to have a role. He's going to be, in the game completely without Gibson. But they've shown that they're going to run Peyton Barber up the middle. But McKissick was instrumental in that win up against the Steelers. They're going to need him again this week. So fire him up. He's a lock for me. Terry McLaurin for sure. And Logan Thomas.
Yeah, Logan Thomas for sure.
Like when Gibson went out of that game, like Gibson has been the identity of the football team offense, which is just like saying that out of my mouth just feels so good. Like if I heard that coming into my ear from July, I'd be like, wow, you're right. You're going to be right. It's going to be good. Logan Thomas, though, he was the guy that was moving the chains when Gibson was out. So I want all of him today for the 49ers. Mostert, Ayuk, and Debo. Excuse me.
Nick Mullins. I would like Nick Mullins.
I don't trust it up against in this matchup. There's so many better options.
I got a sneaky.
Who would you start? Nick Mullins or Sam Darnold this week? I'd start
Nick
Sam.
Mullins.
I'd start Sam Darnold.
Nick Mullins.
You were just dogging the hell out of. You were calling an upset. You're calling an upset against the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm not. Sam Darnold can probably have a bad game and still win.
I don't know about that.
If Seattle's off, and that's my main thing. That they're going to be really like on, but they're going to be off. But the one sneaky play I have for Washington, Cam Sims.
Cam Sims, okay.
Cam Sims, he's a big body.
There's another mouth to feed this week for sure with Gibson out for sure.
I was listening to the Junkies radio, and they were interviewing Logan Thomas, and they asked who is the most athletic player on the team.
I could see this,
and Logan thought about it because he's like, man, I'm pretty athletic. I did seriously forget about you, but who outside of you, who's the most athletic?
I think they were probably looking for some Terry love, like they were looking for Logan to suck off Terry a little bit there. And he came around and was like, oh, you know what?
Cam Sims.
He looks like a freak.
Yeah, he's a freak, and he's very sneaky. He's got the complete package. I think Ron Rivera has finally taken those because I remember when Jay Gruden was the coach, Cam Sims kept popping up on training camp talk. Oh my gosh, he's going to pop off. But he never got a chance to get off the practice squad. Yeah. Gruden kept him there. Rivera's like, you know what, kid? You can play. Let's get you on the field. And he gave him a 3 for 105-yard game. I think that those games are going to start coming along a little bit more. Maybe more receptions, less yards, but I think he is a sneaky play.
I feel like Gruden was probably when he was trying to, date players' girlfriends, he probably targeted the practice squad guys first, right?
I could see that.
So I feel maybe there's some love lost there between him and Cam Sims.
Who was it? It was Capri Bibbs. That's the guy.
Capri Bibbs. He's like some third ranked running back on the roster or something like that.
Well, he was playing because there were so many injuries at the running back position. But
but coming into the year, he may have been on the practice squad.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
But Jay Gruden texted him 10 o'clock at night, being like, "Yo, what's up? We got beef." He's like, "Who the hell is this, yo?"
Your coach, Tiffany's mine, bitch.
Yeah, dude, I'd be freaked out. But yeah, I'm glad that stuff doesn't happen in Washington anymore.
Stay away from my girl. Well, yeah, Ron Rivera, he settled down. Doesn't need to be worrying about practice squad players, girlfriends. No big deal.
Yeah.
Give me the football team this week. Come on, bring it home the division for me. All right, next up we got the Steelers and the Bills. Sunday Night Football, prime time ball. Steelers road dogs, +2 on the spread, +115 on the money line. Over under is at 49 points. I think we got it. I think we got an over here. I think there's enough. What do you think? I feel like that's the home run over for the day.
I'm gonna say give me the under.
The under? Well, why?
I think that Pittsburgh's defense is going to give Josh Allen some issues.
What?
Dude, it's the most optimistic defense in the league. Even though they're down Bud Dupree, he's probably I'm trying to say this with most respect as possible. He's probably the weakest link of that defense.
Really?
Yeah. And he tore his ACL, which is very unfortunate. It gave a lot of pressure on the other side from TJ Watt. But TJ Watt is still coming. They still have Stephen Tuitt. They still got Hargrave. Vince Williams is filling in for Spillane, who was filling in for Devin White. That's the only spot is up the middle where I would say is
Robert Spillane's been fucking rock solid, man.
He got hurt.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, last game I heard that, and I was very unfortunate. Because
he was the dude that popped his shoulder out on Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it, but that's their only spot where I'm they're really weak just because there's been so many injuries, but they've been doing a lot of damage themselves. So friendly fire almost. Right. But yeah, I still see Buffalo having trouble getting not that getting Diggs is open, but I have Allen having trouble reading the coverages that are coming at him from the Pittsburgh defense.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh defense has some veterans on them, you know, like Joe Hayden and stuff like that. And I think Joe Hayden's still going to get cooked up by Diggs because Diggs, man, have you seen his routes? His routes, like the videos of them, are crisp. Like I haven't seen route running like that in a long time. And I think that he is going to give them issues, but the rushing game is probably not going to be there. And I don't see that happening.
For the Bills?
Yeah, for the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see there being some issues trying to run the ball, but man, I mean, Diggs, Beasley, Gabe Davis, I'm all in. The 49 still is just too low to me. I mean, I could still see a 27-24 game. I feel like the Bills probably still win this one as well. I'm going to take the Bills to win. Just going to take the money line here. I don't want to mess with the spread here with how even the money line is at -135 to the +115. So I'm gonna take the Bills. Steelers. When did they play that last game? Was it on
Thursday?
Monday. So Monday to Monday or Monday to Monday. Not too bad. They got plenty of rest still. I don't think that'll be a factor, but I think the Bills, they're just playing a little bit better football right now. I'm going to take them to win, and I'm starting up everybody I can.
Ebron too. I'm all about Ebron. He's coming in. His drops have definitely decreased the past couple weeks. I hope that he stays.
Or Sunday game. Sorry.
I hope that he stays in Pittsburgh because he's honestly the most athletic tight end that Ben has had, and he had Heath Miller, and Heath Miller was a beast. Remember that guy?
Yeah,
he was a beast.
He was on some fantasy squads of mine for sure.
Yeah, and Eric Ebron is like 2 levels above Heath in athletic ability. Heath was just such a hard worker that he was able to, be like Jason Witten and like come along. So I think if Eric Ebron can really hone in on his drops and become a more sure-handed receiver, he could be a Heath Miller 2.0 all over again with more behind him too, because he's way faster too. I checked it 40 times. I think it was like 0.3 seconds that Eric Ebron's faster, and that's like 2 or 3 steps.
All right, fair enough. For the Steelers, starting up everybody, Juju, Claypool.
Not Connor.
Okay.
Connor's kind of fallen off to me.
Well, he's been with COVID, so.
Well, that's true, but even when he was in, he wasn't performing as a number 1 running back. Like he was kind of being spelled a lot more than other running backs, and when he did get his opportunities, it was 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards. Like he wasn't breaking them for like 20, 25. It was just trudging along.
Yeah, I think if you're getting Connor back this week, I actually think it's a good spot to start him. The Buffalo Bills defense, their weakness is up against the run, so I'm gonna say to start him up this week. So give me Claypool, give me Deontay Johnson, give me Juju, and Big Ben. Give me Allen, give me all the Bills. Moss, Singletary. Moss didn't look great last week, so I'll fire up Singletary over him, but I want every one of those receivers: Gabe Davis, Beasley, Diggs, Allen. Yeah, give me all of it. Where are you going on with the game pick here? You taking this? Sounds like you're taking the Steelers.
I think the Steelers are going to get right. They're underdogs for like the first time this year in a long time, to be honest. And I think that they're being underestimated because they kind of really lost to like a really bad team. They're good in their division, but they're not good as a football team. And everyone needs to realize Pittsburgh has not had a bye week since week 4.
Yep.
And that wasn't even planned too. They did get like a mini bye week with like Thanksgiving and the COVID issues and stuff like that. But they're pissed off and they're completely out of whack. And,
Are you picking them to win or are you picking them to lose?
I'm picking them to win.
All right.
But I was just saying that they're underdogs and they had a lot last week, but people need to realize that there's a lot more that fed into it than just football. Gotcha.
All right. So next up, Monday Night Football, we got the Ravens and the Browns. Ravens coming in as road favorites. Don't know if I love that. -158 on the money line. Total is at 46.5. Ravens are not the same team from week 1. This is going to be a really close game here. -3. I think I'm going to, man, I never take the Browns to cover, though. I never, ever take the Browns to cover. I don't think I want to start this week. I think I'm just going to take the over here, 46.5 points. I'll take the over 46.5. I think even if the Ravens have a slow first half on offense, I think they figured out at some point in this game. But I'm not going to pick a winner here. I think the Browns are rolling. They've caught a lot of steam, and this one's going to be too close to call. So I'm going to take the over the 46.5 points. You like the Browns here, Nick?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I do not believe in the Baltimore offense. I do believe in like their players. I just don't believe in their game plan. It's a bunch of square pegs and round holes everywhere. They're putting so much pressure on Lamar Jackson's back, and he's getting through for just 3 yards, and it's just a battle. And the Browns defense is not the same Browns defense that we have been watching for the past 20 years. These guys are legitimate. Myles Garrett is like the first Browns ever in franchise history to have 3 straight seasons of 10 sacks or more. Incredible. And Denzel Ward, he's coming on. Greedy Williams. I'm just very impressed with how the Browns have come on throughout the season and have overcome a lot of adversity. I think that this is a very different team than the first matchup that we saw at the beginning of the season, because really it's kind of like preseason. The first week, definitely preseason. I think that they got their
Baker was a guy that needed a preseason for sure.
Baker got his sea legs now, and he's a lot more comfortable, and I think that they're going to win. I think that if anything, it's going to go to 40. I'm going to say the over because it's 46.5. It's only 23 points. I can see the Ravens breaking off a couple runs, but I see the passing attack for the Cleveland Browns really carrying them to a victory.
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like the rushing attack is going to be the key to their victory here. The Ravens secondary is still really, really good. I don't think Baker wants to try and throttle the arm this week. I feel like you bury the ball with Nick Chubb, you eat a lot of clock, and you dominate the ball up against the Ravens, because when they do get those 3 and outs, and then you keep hammering the run, you're just going to play keep away from the Baltimore Ravens here. I think Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are the instrumental tools here to get the dub. I think Baker can have a clean game. I think Kevin Stefanski has worked up a very good system and playbook for him, but I don't think that Baker should be taking a ton of risks in this game. I wouldn't be really excited to start him. I think he does hold a lot of value over other quarterbacks this week, but up against the Ravens secondary, I don't want to risk it still. So I love Nick Chubb. I love Kareem Hunt, who I do believe finds the end zone this week. He's been a little bit quiet in fantasy, so I'm ready to lock in those running backs. But Austin Hooper could potentially be out of this matchup. We're not sure yet. Could be a nice little spot start in fantasy for Harrison Bryant if you're really hurting at tight end. I could see him as the guy maybe coming down with the receiving touchdown. Austin Hooper banged up. Landry kind of coming along here. Rashard Higgins, they offered a contract extension to, but I am not starting Rashard Higgins this week. I'll take Landry, the running backs, and whatever tight end starts.
I think you're right about how it's not going to be like the passing attack that absolutely like is torching the defense, but they're going to be using the running attack to set up some deep shots for Baker, and they did very successfully against the Tennessee Titans.
Different secondary.
It's a different.
Tread lightly, Baker. Tread lightly, sir.
It's a different.
Take your shots when you can. Be precise.
It's a different defense, but Kevin Stefanski is one of the top coaches. Coach of the year. Would you put him above Sean McVay in terms of coach
of the year? Well, it's the Browns. Well, like the Rams, they have weapons, they have pieces. Kevin Stefanski came in and completely 180 the situation in Cleveland. Coach of the year. Like Sean McVay, we've always known he's had that fucking big brain.
Yeah,
we've always known it, right? Kevin Stefanski, new spot, new guy in town. Completely flipped the culture. I mean, Ron Rivera's right there with me too. If they make the division, I don't care what anybody says.
Okay,
he'll have the cancer beating story. Believe me, it's all about the story too.
Yeah, I get you. On
that. He'll be nailing that one. He'll be in the race. I guarantee it. Who won it last year? Was it Matt Lafleur in Green Bay?
I think it was.
Yeah, Matt Lafleur could be in line for it again just because they've just been getting it done. And if you look at the success that he's had since coming in, I think it kind of rolls over to this year still. He's just been dominating that division and the conference, since arriving there. So
yeah.
I think that's all we got for the lineups here. Did you want to go through any props or sitter starts real quick?
I'll give you some sitter starts.
I'll throw you really quick here. Let's see. Derek Carr or Mitch Trubisky?
Derek Carr.
I'm going to go Mitch Trubisky on that one. Let's go Nick Mullins, who you were kind of hyping up here, or Matt Ryan?
Nick Mullins.
I'm going to go Nick Mullins there too. I'm not in on Matt Ryan this week.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Andy Dalton or Teddy Bridgewater?
Andy Dalton. Revenge.
Tom Brady or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson. We just got done saying they have the second most passing yards in the league. And he'll be running up against the Bears. I bet he gets a rushing touchdown up against the Bears.
Roethlisberger or Herbert?
Roethlisberger or Herbert? Herbert.
All right, running backs. Looking at Jamal Williams or Chase Edmonds?
Chase Edmonds.
Derrick Henry or Aaron Jones?
I don't know how you could have that decision, but Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he's going up against the Jags. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't sit Aaron Jones any week, but Derrick Henry.
Ezekiel Elliott or Cam Akers?
Well, Cam already played, so Zeke.
Dude, that was my bad. I wasn't paying attention.
It still would have been Zeke. I was lower on Cam Akers prior to Thursday night. No shame in saying it.
What about Zeke or James Robinson?
Oh wow, James Robinson. He's just been better. Like they both have good matchups. They're both are going to get a ton of volume today. Robinson's been better.
Le'Veon Bell or Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard. Yeah. He gets a lot of sneaky value.
He returns kicks too. All right, on the wide receivers.
I'm going to give you a wide receiver one here really quick. Curtis Samuel or Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin or Brandon Ayuk?
Wow, that's a good one. Brandon Ayuk.
Darius Slayton or Laviska Shenault?
Darius Laviska.
Tyler Boyd or Debo Samuel?
Debo.
T. Higgins or Debo?
T.
That was a good transition right there. Let me see. Tyreek Hill or DK?
Ooh, Tyreek. He's got Howard today. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go DK.
What about Devontae or Michael Thomas? Devontae Parker versus Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas, hands down.
Cole Beasley or DJ Shark?
Beasley.
All right, and then last.
Beasley's gonna have a big night not in Pittsburgh, against Pittsburgh. Sorry, he's gonna have a big night.
T.Y. Hilton or Mike Williams?
I have both of them on my DFS. How dare you? How dare you? Mike Williams, I said he's not going to score a touchdown. He's going to score 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Eric Ebron or TJ Hawkinson?
TD Hawkinson.
Dallas Goedert or Mike Gesicki?
Gesicki still. Gesicki is just Tua's like love child.
Jared Cook or Jordan Reed?
Jared Cook.
I'm going to go Jordan Reed on that.
Really?
Yep.
Well, maybe you're right. I mean, the Eagles game, like I was saying, there's the Saints are going to pack it in. Maybe you're right.
Dan Arnold or Hayden Hurst?
Whoa, that's a tough one. Hayden Hurst.
Dan Arnold, Hayden Hurst, or Logan Thomas?
Logan Thomas, easy home run there.
Yeah. Darren Waller or Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce.
Even after Darren Waller's 200 reception or 200 receiving yard game?
No, I'm saying Kelce's he could put up 200 yards a day.
Yeah,
I mean, he's going to be the dude up against Miami. Miami is not going to play around with Tyreek Hill. They are going to bring back the safety on him, and he's going to have Xavier Howard on him. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, last one. Jared Cook or Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram.
Okay.
All right, cool. Good stuff. Hopefully you guys got some value out of the show today. This was Take It to the Hizzy number 81, Ocho y Uno. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Happy week 14. Follow the rest of these player game statuses into the 1 o'clock Eastern starts. You got anything else to close it down with, Nick?
Nope.
All right. Well, take care. Be well. We will see you guys tomorrow night for the recap show. And be sure to tune in on Wednesday night. We are going to have our NBA premiere episode Wednesday night for the 7:35 start, the 7:35 club. So be sure to check that out. We need get some solid folks in the chat so we can have a nice little premiere. Looking forward to fantasy draft coming up next week for NBA and getting that season started. Already had a little bit of preseason action, getting the juices rolling. I was up late last night doing all my homework, doing all my research. So yeah, we're pumped. We're moving along here, getting out of football here, getting on to basketball, NHL, MMA. So really appreciate you guys riding along with us. Be sure to destroy the like button, follow the channel. We'll see you